and welcome to the Seahawkers podcast. I'm your host, Brandan Schultz, and I am joined by my good buddy, Adam Emmert, as our Seahawks have defeated the San Francisco 49ers 20-17. Adam, it feels good. We did it. We finally did it.
Oh, it does feel super good, man. I was fully prepared to hop on this show and be like, yeah, well, it was a tight game. It was a loss, but man, the defense, it's a big step forward. And like, this is a big deal for the Seahawks. And then out of nowhere in the fourth quarter, the Seahawks start playing some sort of competent offense. And Geno comes back and gets the stat, the fourth quarter winner tie. And in the clutchiest of moments over the division rival in which he hadn't been able to pull out a victory. And it just made this thing so sweet to break that 0-6 record.
It finally happened. It did feel sweet. It feels sweet to have some of our live executive producers in chat. We've got Carly Perkins coming in with the $4.99 saying, I'm so catfishing happy for Geno. What a way to finally beat the Niners and in their house too. This was our Super Bowl. And we won it. I said it going into this game, Adam. This is the one that I wanted out of all the games the rest of the season. Now I want more, but I'm starting with this one.
This was still number 2 to me, but I am not going to complain in any way, shape, or form because, look, one of the reasons why Mike Macdonald was brought to this team was to control the, Mick Shanahan offenses, right? And did a good job against the Rams. And they did a great job here against the 49ers, who are only missing Kittle, really, out of all of their, real primetime players. So this is a real win defensively for this team and a real step forward.
Yeah, defensively, definitely a win. Offensively, they got a little help, as the announcers continued to point out, with Nick Bosa on the sideline through a lot of the second half, and didn't have to deal with Javarius Ward. But man, oh man, Juwan Jennings, that dude could go away. And why don't they just put like 3 guys on that dude for most of the game? I don't understand why. But still, the defense got it done. That's what's important. We've got Samuel Gelber coming in with a $12 super chat saying, Winers have not beaten the Seahawks in 4 straight weeks. Time for them to implode.
I like it. Season from hell for the Niners. So you brought up a few things there that I think are important in. One, really the 49ers offense, the entire game was Purdy scrambling and 3rd and Juwan. And that was it. They shut down the run. I know McCaffrey probably ended up with 80 or 90 yards. I don't know exactly what.
79 yards on 19 carries.
On 19 carries. And that's really the story right there, is holding him to a, very manageable yards per carry. In the run defense looks spectacular. Ernest Jones really is a difference maker in that. I'd love to point to Tyrese Knight, but I didn't really see much of him, and that's a good thing at the end of the day. In that same vein, you brought up Bosa and, Greg Olson out there talking about, oh, they don't have Bosa, so now they can score points. And it's like, look, when Abe was in and Bosa was in, did you hear anything out of Nick Bosa? Because I sure didn't.
No.
Like, that wasn't the game changer that Greg Olson seemed to think it was. Did it help? For sure. But the real game changer was having Abe Lucas back up front there. And we saw it for the one drive when they brought Jarrell back in, and guys were just running around him like a traffic cone.
Yeah, it was just long enough for Bosa to bust his hip going up against Jarrell. And, it worked out that way for us.
Yeah.
We've got our Ryan 911, our traditional live executive producer. He kind of slowpoking his way in here behind Carly and Sam, but here he is. Ryan, go Hawks, and do better, Adam, for picking against the Hawks. Talking about in the What If preview show. Glad we had the positive Hawker from Clinton this week. Now fight about the high snap.
Okay, and we can get to that for sure. In terms of what I picked on the What If show. Just a gut feeling. I mean, we hadn't beat him in 6 straight tries, and just all of the controversies surrounding the team with players coming and going and retiring unexpectedly. And I didn't have a lot of hope on the road in a hostile environment against a good team that it was going to come out the way that it did. And look, if it had come out as a loss, I would have been happy with some of the things that I saw out of this game, specifically defensively, because your defensive-minded head coach is getting it dialed in and is doing what he was advertised to do.
getting it done defensively, but also I think we saw it dialed in on the offensive side of the ball too. The way that
No.
drive where they came out, you're telling me that first drive that they had, where they had a mix of under center in shotgun, that looked like I don't know. We hadn't seen a whole lot of that early on in games where, where Geno was running an offense from under center. It looked like an NFL offense.
Yeah, for like 2 drives. And then we forgot about it until like in the third, we started getting under center a little bit. Look, Kenneth Walker was averaging close to 6 yards a carry in the first half. Yeah. And he only had touched the ball, I think, 5 times in the first half. That's outrageous. Secondly, as far as the offense, there's a lot of cool plays. Like Grubb does some stuff that's cool. Like that slip screen to JSN late in the game. That was pretty cool. Like there's a lot of like these little cool plays. But the problem is that with them trying to get to more under center stuff, which I'm a fan of, there's one thing that Greg Olsen said in this game that was smart. And he was saying that basically you have an offense right now that's unlike what the high-end offensive play callers do, which is run a bunch of stuff that looks the same but is completely different play in and play out. Yeah. The window just same. The thing with Grubb's offense right now is it's a smattering of plays all over the board. It's like just pick a call off the play sheet and run it. But there's no like cohesive down in, down out type play calling that makes sense where you're setting up other things and there's a sequencing of plays. And again, a few very nice plays, enough to get the dub. I'm happy about that. But overall, if I'm looking forward in terms of the offense, it's still very disjointed.
Jay, Adam is pointing out the one smart thing that Greg Olsen said. I don't think he's calling Greg Olsen smart. He's saying he did say one smart thing.
Even a blind squirrel finds it out once in a while, right? Like that's what it is.
Eric in Sweden coming in with $27 saying catfish the Niners all the way from Sweden.
Heck yeah, man. Screw the Niners. Man, that felt good. And just watching the defense be able to control CMC all game was an absolute joy.
The Snail, member for 26 months, our longest member out on YouTube. Hit the join button and you can become a member out on YouTube as well. Or you can go to getintheflock.com if you want to help support the show. Want to know with Abe Lucas, if we want more Cougs, we'll win. Or if we draft more Cougs, we'll win more. Maybe if we hired a Coug as OC, our offense would work better too. Cam Ward still counts. Let's get him too. Go Hawks.
Hey, go Hawks. Hey, look, I'm done with college OCs. I'm good on that. But at the end of the day, again,
Cam Ward is a former Coug. He's probably trending toward Heisman Trophy winner in college this year. I know you don't watch, so I'm just cluing you in. That's what Snail's referencing with the Cam Ward talk.
Oh, I see. He's one of the players. He's not the OC.
Oh, yeah. But I guess he said Coug is an OC too. But
yes, okay. Well, that's fine. And I'm sure I will get to Cam Ward in the offseason when it's appropriate. But in the meantime, we've got this game, not a beatdown, but a nice solid win in dramatic fashion over the 49ers in dirty Santa Clara.
Also, thanks to Aaron F. for the $4.99 super chat. Love they showed KJ right before Geno scored on that touchdown, like saying, screw you to KJ, you traitor.
That's right. Yeah. If you're trust me, when KJ's done with the Niners, like open arms and I'll take you right back. But in the meantime, Judas, like this is what you get.
Liverpool talk saying, what a statement win. Suck it, whiners. Love that the clock stopped at 12 seconds. It was destined to be. Geno Smith taking it into the end zone, getting the game-winning touchdown, Adam. He hurt us a little bit with the interception earlier on, but he redeemed himself by running it into the end zone, getting the game-winning score for our Seahawks.
That's right. And if you go back to the interception, Brandan, it's very much picturesque of some of the other really bad picks from the last game where you're like, dude, like the play has been a disaster and you've managed to get out of trouble and all of that. Don't heave it up downfield. Just throw it out of bounds, live to fight another day. Like, it's fine. I understand it's third down and all that. Fine. Punt.
Yeah, it's okay.
Punt's a win compared to a pick. And then I think what's more important off of that is the way the defense stepped up and held them to 3 points there. That was freaking huge.
Yeah, really nice to see by the defense. And yeah, because they get a touchdown there, and that would kind of put the game out of reach for the Seahawks. especially driving down and getting the score when they did. So it was overall, yeah, definitely a high point for the offense or for the defense on the day. Keith Kedover saying, I can't believe Fox stylists couldn't do anything better with Olsen's hair. See, I do give Greg some credit, though. It's kind of like Adam says, like, you never know when you go in for your haircut, if it's going to be your last one.
Right.
Greg might be holding on. It might be him putting off his final haircut.
It looked a little that way. And look, my only suggestion to Greg Olsen there is ball cap. Like, just go with it.
Just go with that. Or he could do the old LeBron thing and wear like a really thick headband in the broadcast booth.
Right. Or he could go the other LeBron route and just get more hair plugs.
That works too. Gano saying KJ coaching Fraud Warner kills me.
I'm not sure that Fred Warner is a fraud, but still nice to see the Hawks go out there and at least get enough done offensively to pull this out. I mean, if your defense holds the opposing offense to 17 points, you better win that football game.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And especially with McCaffrey being out there, Debo was held in check most of the game. It was really, I mean, you pointed out the two components of their offense, and then it was Purdy scrambling for first downs that helped keep them on the field in a couple big moments. Long live the King with the $5 super chat. If this was a chessboard, Spoon was a knight and Geno was a king. Let's go.
All right, Brandon, talk to me about Spoon. How did you feel about Devon Witherspoon this game?
He was all over the field. I saw him lined up outside. Now, there were a couple times where I was disappointed that he was getting pushed around enough by Juwan that he wasn't enough just to have him singled up on Juwan on third down, because we saw Jennings beat that matchup on a couple different occasions on third down. But he was, the huge play that I think stands out in my mind is when he comes off the edge, hits Purdy's hand, the ball floats up in the air a little bit, and that ended up being a pretty critical play. I don't think it was a third down, but it resulted in maybe a long play afterward.
Yeah, I don't think it was a third down, but look, Spoon, I thought, played one of his best games of the year. There it is, AZ Hawker, right as it's coming out of my mouth. And he was all over the field today, whether it was getting to Purdy on the blitzes or playing outside, inside, and really Juwan beat him on a couple thirds. You're right. It was good damn coverage, though. That's the other thing.
Oh, yeah.
And look, if they're not going to call OPI and they're just going to let the receivers bully the defenders, then you're probably going to give those up. And look, Wolin gave up a couple to Jennings as well on third down as he continues to struggle on in-breaking stuff, the shorter in-breaking stuff. But, man, again, just enough to get it done.
Well, we can look at some of the stats from this game, too. Geno Smith finishes the day in 25 of 32. So a very efficient day for Geno Smith, 221 yards, 1 interception, no touchdowns through the air, but he did have the 1 touchdown on the ground, 4 rushes, 29 yards. Man, oh man, that third down play where at 3rd and 1, it looked like he may have gotten there. The officials don't measure it. Then they bring in Sharps on 4th down. And, I think they had Sharps and Walker back there, but they gave it to Charbonnet. He wasn't able to pick it. We don't even get a measurement turnover on downs in that situation, but Charbonnet finishing the day, 4 carries, 3 yards. Walker, 14 carries, 54 yards. Not 100 yards on the ground, but a good enough mix is what I felt, at least.
Yeah, I mean, it's close.
Better than before.
It's way better. It's way better. Let's say it's better. It's not a good enough mix, but it's much better and on the right track. I had said in the previous shows, if K9 went for about 60, like, that's a good day, and we would have an opportunity at a win. And 54 yards is pretty darn close to that. I think it's time to have the Zach Charbonnet discussion at some point here. Every touch to Zach Charbonnet is a wasted down. And then he can't block and pass pro, and he's terrible lead blocking. So I don't get it. And
he thinks that he's shiftier than he is out in space.
Shifty? He's anti-shifty.
I know, but he thinks he is.
I know.
It's like he does enough of a little shoulder fake that he thinks he's going to shake a guy off, and it just ends up going nowhere. So Michael O'Hara saying Ernest Jones is a stud, leading the day in terms of tackles, 6 total tackles, 7 assisted tackles, and he and Julian Love up there. TFL for Love, as well as Bryant. Nice play by Kobe Bryant on Jennings late in the game too, on the sideline, not able to quite make the tackle, but enough to contain him and then make Jennings step out of bounds and kill the clock. So great play by Kobe there.
Oh, absolutely. And look, at that moment in time, like Kobe, he's not able to get him down, but the fight to stay in the play, to keep him in front of him, to wait for his teammates to rally. Like that's what I'm looking for out of this team in terms of how Mike Macdonald motivates guys. Like everybody played extraordinarily hard today. Thought Leonard Williams had a nice game up front as well. He was getting in there. Didn't see a lot out of Murphy, but his presence I think is a bonus, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
And
he was in there. I think he was the one that on one of the Purdy runs to the outside, he did get held because he would have been tracking him down. And so he at least made his presence known on that play, but no big sacks or anything for Murphy. How about Hankins with the hands?
Best play of the year from Hankins. He's been kind of a dumpster fire otherwise. And so that was super exciting at that point there. And I'm with Mike Dubs. Screw the Niners forever. That did feel nice.
All right. Any other guys on defense that we want to? Yeah. As far as Knight, like he did get 4 tackles on the day in there for 6 assisted tackles, but I didn't necessarily feel Tyrese Knight in this game.
Yeah. And again, that's okay. Like, as long as you're not seeing him as a liability as a rookie out there, really getting the lion's share of the snaps for the first time.
Which, when you look at his stat line compared to Boye Mafe, who you definitely felt his presence, 2 passes defensed, and he felt, like he was getting some pretty good pressure on Purdy most of the day.
Yeah, and I thought the ends did a really nice job, both Mafe and Hall, on all of the stretch zone stuff to the outside. They really did set the edge and get it strung out to where guys in the, like, whether it was Spoon or Julian Love, honestly, coming up a couple times and making some nice plays and just being able to contain the edges. That was super fun to see.
Brian Wallace coming in with the $9.99 super chat. You guys are awesome. Obviously a great game. Shut up, Geno haters.
Yeah.
But more importantly, some heartfelt gratitude for all you guys, plus Clinton, Phil, and all do day in and day out. #Hawk. Yeah. Thanks for the super chat, Brian.
Oh, major thanks, man. Appreciate the love. We appreciate you guys, man. You guys really are the ones who make this go. I do see Nate Schutz has a comment down here about JSN, and holy smokes, in crunch time when you really needed it and they were trying to take away DK, boy, JSN came up with a bunch of clutch catches and now stacks another performance on top of that Rams game last week. And that's a step that we've all been waiting for.
Yep, and more plays downfield to JSN. Not any of those quick screens. Did we see one bubble screen all day, Adam, by the offense?
No, not one legit true bubble. That was refreshing.
See, step in the right direction.
Yeah, that's a step in the right direction. I just, you said it. What was your exact words? It was something like a really good day for the offense or something like that. And I was just like, hey, yeah, no.
Like, I think it was we saw some improvement from the offense. Run it back.
Okay. Look, I will say, all right, like there are some steps in the right direction. Okay. Like I can definitely give you that. Still a lot of work to do there.
10 catches, 110 receiving yards for JSN. Let's say that I think that even outdueled what we saw from Jennings. So 10 catches, 91 yards. So yeah, take that, Juwan.
That's right. Exactly. Not the best receiver out there on the day, which is what I was told by dumb Greg Olson. But one of the things, we talked about getting stuff down there on 4th and 1. And the funny thing is that throughout the game, even when they got down at the goal line, they were pretty good in 3rd and 4th and short, lining up and heavy and getting after it. You could tell they put the work in over the bye week to improve that area of the game, and give Grubb some credit there.
New holiest hand grenade. What, your holiest hand grenade? You had to create a burner or something? What's going on here? Just so we're clear here, Abe is okay, right? They were just limiting him in this game. Yeah. And we heard that from Coach Mike going into this game. He was asked if he would be on a quote unquote pitch count with Abe coming back. And I was a little bit worried when we didn't see him early on in the second half that it was going to be they got him out there first half. Now they were going to like a true pitch count to where you take the dude out of the game and he doesn't come back. But we got some good news because we saw Abe out there late in the game and holding down that edge for the game-winning drive.
Yeah, that did get my heart in my throat there a little bit. I think one of the things that Grubb can work on is he seems to get locked into these ideas of, okay, this series I'm playing this dude, and he was doing it with Jarrell there. And when was it right after we'd gotten the turnover from Purdy? It was after the pick, and we started in San Francisco territory, and we ended up only running 3 plays, but K9 wasn't even on the field that entire time.
Right.
When you're in scoring range, like, what are we doing? Like, rest him the next series then. Like that, like, I understand you had it in your mind that, okay, now it's time for Charbonnet to come in. Like, no, and that situationally, get your best players out there. This is a chance to really take the bull by the horns here.
Devo Martzel coming in with a $4.99 super chat. This one is all on Geno. It's his fault. San Francisco lost. Go Hawks.
I love that comment. That one's hilarious. Very well played there, Devo. I think the other thing we need to talk about, Brandon, is not noticing any bad play from Olu. Like, yeah. he had a fantastic day, and really, the one play that you could get after him about is a snap that's right here to Geno. Like, It wasn't 4 feet over here.
No,
it was right here. And yeah, a lot of people being like, oh no, it's a bad snap. It's like, on a scale of 1 to 10, it's a 4 or 5. It's not a great snap, but it's not a bad snap. Geno has to catch that. That's on Geno, and it disrupted that drive.
It's a little bit on both of them. Obviously, most of Olu's snaps were right in the center toward Geno, and I don't know if it did come a little bit early. Then, because I think Phil was saying that when he looked at the alignment and the movement of the offensive line, it looked like it may have come a little bit early. And so if Geno just wasn't quite expecting it, then it's a little bit on Olu too. So it's tough to say where the fault lies. I think I took some of the cues from the players who were tapping Olu on the shoulder on the sideline afterward, and thinking maybe, people are thinking it might have been his fault a little bit there. The other play, Olu got just smashed on that 4th and 1. His dude was like 3 yards into the backfield straight off the snap on the 4th and 1.
Yeah. Well, in those situations too, when you're, the center and you're the middle of that formation and they know something's coming up the middle, man, like, that's the hardest thing for a center to do, in my opinion, is, snap the ball and then just get bum rushed by 2 or 3 of their bigger dudes. Like, that's tough. You should have never been in 4th down there because they picked it up on the sneak. Like, one of the things that was maddening all day was every close spot, whether it was a spot for the Niners or a spot for the Seahawks, went against the Seahawks. I don't know how many times a Niner was half a yard short, quarter of a yard short, and they would spot the ball as a first down and move the chains. And then that happened there on the drive there later in the game where they turned it over on downs. And that was frustrating.
Yeah, the Niners did get one, or we got the benefit of them calling the Niners short at one point in the game, but it did seem to go the Seahawks way fewer times. But we've got M, or Bubble Guts, in our Discord saying Snap wasn't Geno's fault with the $5 super chat. Maybe this is what we need to do. We need to settle it based on super chat donations as to whose fault the errant snap was. Was it on Geno? I'm kidding. We've got
you can go 50 cents at a time and get your vote in. I'm good with it. Yeah.
Long live to King with the $2 super chat. End of the games. Geno never loses his gonads. It was a sight to see. Geno driving it down. He has been very clutch. And it was nice to see him clutch up and get another stat, especially against the Niners.
Absolutely. Is he the most clutch quarterback in football? No. Is he in the top 12 in the clutchiness factor? I would say yes.
He might even be top 5 when it comes down to 2-minute drives.
I was trying to be extra fair by going out to 12 and try to put my homerism aside, but you could easily sell me on top 5.
I mean, if you just want to look at the stats, the stats are there.
Yeah.
Brandan Janis saying run defense was as good as last game against the Rams. I sense noticeable improvement, which is all I want to see this season. Hawks all day, baby. And if they can continue that, especially when you're up against a Rams team who wants to run the football, McCaffrey, they want to get him involved in the offense, and now coming up against James Conner and the Arizona Cardinals next week, we're going to see over this stretch if the run defense is for real.
Heck yeah, man. You took the words right out of my mouth, just thinking about next week and that matchup with an Arizona team that does run the football well in James Conner. I have a lot more faith in that. You get that game, and all of a sudden things get a little interesting. Okay. We're on the same page. We clicked at the exact same time, Brandon, on that. Hey, look, man, I would have reversed my position on the bad snap, but to say that pancakes are better than waffles, that's a bridge too far. Hell no.
No, as much as I hammered on Adam about flip-flopping, he's definitely not.
Or did we lose Brandon this time? I mean, I need you guys to tell me here in the chat real quick, because I always assume it's me. But if it is Brandon here, like, oh, nope, I see Brandon. He looks like he's back.
I feel like I never left, but I guess.
Okay.
Here I am. Yeah, I was just saying that for you to be going on your stance on waffles, that would be a true flip-flop. That is not conditional.
That is not conditional. That's exactly right. Them just facts. Like, the waffles have the little pockets that you can pour all your goodness into. Yeah.
All right. Maybe I was gone for about 10 seconds. I'm back. I'm fine.
Okay.
And waffles are great, as recognized in the chat. So,
All right.
We can have this debate, or we could talk Seahawks Niners, because our Seahawks, Adam, they did it. Yeah, they got the win. Looking at some of the other stats too, just in terms of what the Niners are able to do. Look at this. Brock Purdy, 22 of 29, but 163 yards, average of 5.6 yards per reception. I'm a little bit surprised to see that number after the fact. It felt like more.
It did feel like more, but it's because when he was getting his completions, it was always on, 3rd and 11, which just seemed to be like a combination that we couldn't stop ever. 3rd and 11 to Jawan there, which was really frustrating. I wanted to ask you, Brandon, because I think we differ in opinion on this. 34 seconds left in the half. You're at midfield. It's 4th and 3. You get the ball back at the beginning of the 3rd. I think I know where you were at on that, but what were you thinking there?
I thought the smart play was to go ahead and punt it away, just because with the amount of time that was left on the clock, I didn't think that the Niners, if you would have failed on that 4th down conversion, they would have had enough time to be in field goal range and to make a play there. I think by punting it, you're definitely making sure that you're limiting their points, and you're only down 7-6 and getting the ball back after the half. It was conservative, but I felt like it was the right kind of conservative.
Interesting. I feel diametrically opposed to it. So you're down 1 point on the road against a team you haven't beaten 6 straight times.
Right.
And you've got 34 seconds left in the half. Your defense is playing really well. So if you don't get it, you're probably going to hold them to a field goal. You're not going to give up a touchdown, right? Like, worst case scenario is you give up a touchdown and you're down 4 when you get the ball back going into the 3rd. Now, if you go for it and you get it, like, most likely scenario is you're going to kick a field goal there and be up 2 with the ball starting the second half on the road against a team you haven't beaten in forever. Like, I feel like that's the time that you are aggressive. Like, if you're, let's see, what was this? This is week 11, right? So let's say you're 8-3, you're going into this game and you're playing this other team and you're down 1 and all that stuff. And it's a team that isn't in division and all that stuff. And you go the route that they did, I'm fine with it. But because of what's on the line with your record is where it is, and this being a really pivotal division game, you're already down 0-2 in the division. Like, I felt like that was completely ballless.
I would have been fine with it had they gone for it. It's not that because in that moment I'm like, okay, let's go for it because because I was in that space of we got to get this win because it's our Super Bowl, right? So that does feel like if you are coaching this as if it's your Super Bowl, maybe it's a good thing that Coach Mike wasn't, but ultimately he got the win. I do have some poll results, Adam, as far as who was at fault for the snap fumble. Olu Timmy, 17%. Geno Smith, 17%. The ghost of Connor Williams, 65%. It's settled. That bad snap was on the ghost of Connor Williams.
Look, I can't disagree at all with the results of the little flockers and their poll right there. That feels right. Look, we bullied Connor Williams out of town. Might as well pile on one more time.
Hey, the results don't lie. We're 1-0 with Olu Timmy at center. Let's keep it going. Keep this game. Keep our Seahawks undefeated now through the rest of the season, Adam.
Yep, that would be fantastic and would exceed expectations. I just think this is such a huge win in terms of, building this team with the new staff and the new culture and everything that they're trying to do. Especially with losing 5 out of the last 6 and having the heartbreaker against the Rams. I'm really happy for Coach Mike. Like, these are the ones that really gain you credibility in the locker room. It really gains you credibility with the fans to see his side of the ball look like a well-coached, cohesive NFL fast-playing unit. Just massive.
So do you think that this getting a win here against the Niners, does it totally change around then any kind of thoughts and feelings that you had about some of the having 2 unprecedented moves coming out of the bye week in Tyrell Dotson leaving, Connor Williams retiring? Does that take all of that away? Or is there still a little bit of you that wonders if there's something more going on that we're not seeing?
I think that it's a damn good thing that they won this football game, because I don't know that it changes my opinion that going into this game is if they lost this game and lost badly with all of the circus of the last couple of weeks. I just think that it would have been really bad narrative wise in the media. And look, I saw the comment earlier. I'm not saying that there weren't things that were improved by the offense. There were things that were better. Yeah. But that is far. Go and watch. I can't remember who had the comment there, but I would encourage you to go and watch. There was a video by, I want to say it's Football Analysis is the channel, about Aaron Rodgers and the Jets offense, in that it's not a real offense. And he goes into the whole idea of what they're out there doing. And this is a little different than what the Seahawks are doing, but the concept remains the same. The Jets are going out there and they just have a smattering of plays that Aaron Rodgers just gets to the line of scrimmage and just checks and trying to hunt matchups. And there's no cohesive flow to the offense and no like overarching scheme. And I think that's what I'm pointing to here. And look, again, I said I'm going to give Grubb 2 years. Like, is this growth? I think it's growth. And I will take that, but a long ways to go.
Well, and it's more of that shift that I was looking for, because as we had talked about just a couple of weeks ago, I felt like with the amount of shotgun that they were conceding the line of scrimmage just solely by the volume of being in shotgun. They trended now more toward the line. It felt, and when I'm thinking about this thematically, because when they're doing it with plays under center, it feels more like they're setting up for explosive plays rather than being in gun and wishing for explosive plays. And it's more of that that I'm looking for, just again thematically.
Yeah, exactly. I did not see JSN's post-game beanie. Congratulations to him. He can wear whatever he wants. He had a second big game in a row. Big hats off to him.
And Clinton in the chat saying, how about the fact that very few teams can compete the types of passes the Niners had to rely on? That's something. I'm very optimistic about the Niners' demise after this game too.
Yeah, it does show some of the things that I've been hearing from a lot of the 49ers shows out there and a lot of their concerns in basically being like, look, it's Jawan and that's it. And very pessimistic about what CMC can be coming off the double Achilles strain. And I don't know that it didn't seem like he was limited physically. I just felt like that the Seahawks were great at getting hats on hats. And even late in the game, when it was kind of clear that the Niners were going to run it, and, Greg Olsen points out, oh, there's 9 dudes in the box. It's like, yeah, there's 9 dudes in the box, but what are they doing after the snap? Like, there's guys bailing out too. Like a lot of the misdirection and disguising that Mike Macdonald is famous for. Like he was still doing that while having those dudes in the box, showing him a look that, I'm sure Kyle will see this on the next drive. Like, yeah, that's kind of the point.
Charlie Baumberg in chat, is Geno one of the top 3 fastest quarterbacks in the league? No. I'm not sure he's not. I'm going with it. I'm with Charlie. Top 3.
Top 3. Allen is faster. Lamar is faster. Jaden Daniels is faster.
AR, I know. Yeah.
AR is faster. Yeah.
It's fine. I'm in on the joke with Charlie. He's one of the top 3 fastest.
No, it was a good joke, Charlie. I'm sorry to jump all over it there. But I think one of the things that we need to talk about, though, is we talk a lot about Geno and what he can and can't do. He doesn't get enough credit for what he does in the pocket, moving around and with his legs. A couple big scrambles today.
Yeah, and I think he finds those moments where he picked his spots in this game, right? Because it wasn't like he was pulling it down and running it in the same way Purdy was. It was because on a lot of those Purdy runs, it was more like as soon as he didn't have the read that he wanted, then he was going because he was feeling the pressure. But Geno, he had those couple spots, obviously on the touchdown for 16 yards, and then he had another 13 runs on 3 carries where it was just, he saw his opportunity. And I think probably a big chunk of that was on another first down run that he had. But we got Phil in the chat saying impossible for me to be mad at Grubb. He didn't assemble this O-line. What he accomplished in the second half was absolutely amazing to me, finding tiny little weak points in a top defense.
Look, I'm not that mad at Grubb in this game. Like, I think I keep trying to say this. Like, there was good things there. There was progress. That's still not a coherent NFL offense. What I saw out there, were there moments, were there little plays where he was able to catch them here and there? Yes, but it doesn't have like an overarching structure is what I'm getting at there. And if I hear somebody make the excuse for Ryan Grubb one more time that he didn't pick this offensive line, it's going to just set me off, because the thing about it is this entire time up until this point of the season, he's doing all of the things that are opposite of what one should do if you're going to help a poor offensive line out. He finally was chipping out on the right side of the line. He finally was getting under center and letting them play downhill a little bit. Like, those things matter. And you can overcome some of those things with play calling, but he was taking their weakness and making it even worse.
Man, was Sharps just exposed in this game? Because it feels
this
like
game?
It was. I feel a lot more people, because I only say this because I was on the questionable Zach Charbonnet bandwagon a long time ago, and now I feel like everybody's catching up to me.
Yeah, I kind of feel like I think you were out in front of that even before me, and I kind of caught up with you, I think, hopefully fairly quickly. But yeah, it's just obvious. Like, that dude he looks a lot like the UCLA tape. Like, if there's not a gigantic gaping hole for him to run through, get ahead of steam, and then hit somebody, like, there's just nothing going on with him.
Newgash saying Ernest Jones, the best mid-season signing of John Schneider. I mean, Marshawn Lynch, not a bad one either.
Was that mid-season?
That was mid-season in 2010.
God, I guess it was. Holy smokes.
Yeah. But he does have, and shoot, I mean, what was the other one? Dwayne Brown, another good mid-season signing. Making that trade.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Marshawn was a trade too, right?
Yeah, Marshawn, I think they gave up a 5th to the Bills for that.
Yeah, and Ernest was a trade.
Yep. So, yeah, John making some moves. Good for him. How many times did Geno go under center? It was definitely more than normal. We'll see how. I'm curious though to look it up on the Game Pass afterward to see exactly how much it was. Geno's courage on the game-winning touchdown was incredible to me. When you're watching it on TV and you don't know where the defenders are coming from, obviously he saw all the space that he needed on that one.
He really did command the offense well. I mean, he did get sacked the one time, and it was technically Lucas's guy, but it's because AB got just beat badly. And then Geno stepped up, and then and looped back around Lucas because Geno had changed his spot quite a bit. And, just fighting through things, kept that sack to a minimum, right? To keep you from just blowing up the drive. I'd seen a comment earlier he'd put up there about the idea of not hunting for as many kill shots and using the intermediate game and all that. Couldn't agree more. I think that was a feather in Ryan Grubb's cap today for sure.
Amy in the chat saying Grant Cohn's after game was hilarious.
When
the 49ers take L's, Grant Cohn is usually on fire after the game. And so for a Seahawks fan, it's always worth checking out after the Niners take a loss.
Oh, absolutely. Look, he is the best Schadenfreude ever for Seahawks fans. I'm convinced he says he's not a Niners fan, but I'm convinced like he's genuinely hates the Niners, but covers them every day.
I know for opponents, like he's a fun guy to watch because when you want to sports hate a team, then he gives that vibe and it's exactly what you need. We got Clinton in chat saying 270 plus watching, 44 likes. That's it. Come on, hit the like button. And we're glad you're here hanging out with us in the post game. Man, fun game for our Seahawks getting the win, Adam. 20-17 over these Niners. This is going to be a fun week to go back in and watch and take a look at some of the nitty-gritty details. Of course, we'll get into some of that too with 3 in, 3 out. We'll have that here on YouTube, youtube.com/Seahawkers podcast. Hit the subscribe button as well. And if you're looking for it on audio, go ahead and search for the Hawkra. That is our audio feed that you can catch 3 in, 3 out on. And Clinton Bonner and I will be taking a look post game and celebrating this 20-17 victory.
That's right. You'll find that on the audio side, like you said, on For the Hawkra, for the video side of things right here on YouTube on this channel. So that's going to be cool. Can't wait to get back with you and do the flagship here and be able to go back through this tape. It's so much nicer to do it coming off a huge, huge win that they absolutely won in the fourth quarter. Yes.
It was great to see. Let's keep it going, Adam. Keep it going against these stupid Arizona Cardinals and get our way back up to sole place of the NFC West.
That would be awesome because, looking at us at the bottom of the NFC West standings there for a minute with the Cardinals at the top, I thought I had slipped into another universe or something, another dimension. Let's get this back to normal.
Yeah, we need to get it back to where it feels like normal. And I think with that,
there's only one thing left to say.
Go Hawks.
Go Hawks.